Hello from Gardening at Douentza here in Ireland. And here I am with my begonias, my houseplants that I absolutely love. But today it's time for a begonia repot because, as we can see, this poor little thing is growing out over the edge of the pot, and it's about time that we made it a lot more comfortable. Okay, so we talked about how it was time to repot that begonia, and I guess the first thing we need to do is to make a nice mix for putting it in. Now, begonias are generally very unfussy when it comes to mix, so I just here have a normal compost, a garden compost. But the begonias like good drainage, so I'm going to add into it some perlite, which is great for drainage. There, and because I don't have a lot of perlite, I'm going to add in a bit of vermiculite as well. Both are great for drainage. And again, there's no set recipe for this, it's just, you know, whatever you need to do. Now, if you live in a moist climate, a humid climate like mine, you're going to need more drainage than if you live in a very kind of sunny climate. Okay, that probably looks about right. And the next thing I'm going to do is to choose a pot. Now, with choosing a pot, like any other plant, what you need to do is find one the next size up. So if we put the begonia in here, you can see that this one really is the next size up. If anything, it's a little bit big, but it's going to be fine. And if you can possibly manage, try and find a shallow pot. So that's from the top to the base, because what your begonia doesn't want is a whole lot of compost that sits at the bottom and stays wet. It is a plant that really likes good drainage. Okay, so I've added some extra holes in the bottom here. And now what we're going to do is to put a little bit of compost at the bottom of that pot. So in we go with the mix, breaking up any lumps that come about. And now I am going to take my begonia out of its existing pot. And the way to do that is to squeeze the sides of the pot all the way around, and out it comes. Now, okay, so this is what we're dealing with, and as you can see, begonias have very hair-like fibrous roots. And I'm going to place this into the new pot like that. And as you can see, all this big tuber that was hanging out over the edge of the other pot is going to find a place and be in contact with the soil by the time I finish. We have more tubers here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is put a little bit more compost underneath the plant. And put it in. And then put compost around. Okay, and have a look at what we're doing here. I've come to the realization that this pot is actually too big for the begonia I'm trying to put it in. That's just a really bad mismatch. So we're going to take it out. And this is the thing that happens, you know, sometimes when you put this on top and you see all that top foliage, it seems that this is the right sized pot, but when you get down to looking at the root ball and how much space is going to be around it and underneath it, you realise that that's just never going to work, and I'm just going to run into drainage problems if I try and put such a small begonia into such a big pot. So with that in mind, never mind, because I have a whole lot of begonia repotting to do. And this one here also needs repotting. And if we have a look here, you can see it's bumping up against the side of this pot. And this is one I think that is going to fit quite well into this pot. But let's see, shall we? You know, never say with 100% certainty until you're 100% certain. Okay, so this one has come out, and what we're going to do is take a bit of this mix out, put it back in the pot there, and put this one in here. And that is much better, okay? We have plenty of space around the plant, but it's not as much as in the last one. What I'm going to do is just move this plant a bit back here, because what we had the last time around was a lot of space here, and the begonia was moving over to the front side. So I'm just moving it back here. Okay, now I'm going to put some mix around the begonia. And when repotting begonias, have your compost just a little bit moist. What you really don't want to do is to absolutely drench the mix on a newly repotted begonia. They don't like it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is firm down my fingers around the root ball, as you can see me doing here. And a little bit more. And there we go. And I suppose the real moral of this story is to not be afraid to admit that we're wrong when we make a mistake. Okay. Now, so this looks much happier, and I'm going to put the label in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a little bit of water, but not too much, not going to absolutely drench it, as I said. And that is a nicely repotted begonia. And just in terms of repotting, for these house begonias, there's no particular time of year that you need to do it or not do it. Spring, as usual, is best, but you can do it winter if that's the time that, you know, you have the free time and you're ready to do it. Okay, that's all for now. I better get on with finding a pot for that other poor, smaller begonia. Hope you liked this video, and if so, check back for lots more plant and repotting kind of stuff. Bye for now.